hidden inside you and me.
All right, everyone, get ready for something pretty different today. We're going to take a deep dive into, well, magic.
With a K.
With a K, right. Not the pulling a rabbit out of a hat kind of magic.
Exactly.
We're exploring a book called Magick from Chaos to Clarity by Rob Alex. He's got a PhD. The book takes a really interesting and grounded approach to magic.
Yeah. It actually starts by explaining the difference between, that stage magic, like we all know, and this magic with a K.
So we're not going to be, like, sawing anyone in half today, right?
No sawing in half.
Okay, good.
The book defines magic as, well, it's this ability to use the energy that we create to make the things we want happen, and also to bring, like, more light to the world.
Okay, so it's about, like, harnessing energy for positive change. But isn't that kind of like manifestation?
Yeah, it's similar, but magic goes a bit deeper. It's really about being super specific with what you want, like clear instructions, And it talks about how this energy, it's like it's intelligent or something.
Okay, so it's not just like putting a wish out there. It's like giving the universe a blueprint.
Exactly. The book even says that, magic, it's already part of our lives, like everyday life.
Yeah.
Like, think about those times when you just get lucky or something falls into place perfectly.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like when you're working towards a goal and then suddenly, boom, the perfect opportunity just shows up.
Right. The book even talks about the author's own experience. He was trying to get a book deal for 8 years.
8 years. Wow.
Yeah, he was putting in the work, getting better at writing, all that. But it wasn't until he went through some big life changes that he got that deal.
So magic, it's not about instant gratification. It's playing the long game.
Exactly. It's got its own intelligence and it works on its own timeline.
So no winning the lottery with magic then?
Well, probably not overnight, no.
Okay.
But maybe you could get your dream job after years of, hard work and all that. It's more about amplifying your efforts, not replacing them completely.
Gotcha. Working with the energy, not against it. But where does all this energy even come from?
Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. The book talks about chaos magic.
Chaos magic. Okay, I'm intrigued, but also a little nervous. Is this where things get a bit woo-woo?
Not really. Chaos magic, it's like the purest form of magic. And guess what? It's all about those everyday acts of kindness.
Wait, so like holding the door for someone or helping someone with directions, that creates magic?
Yep. Every little good deed, it adds to this like pool of energy. We're all making it, even if we don't realize it.
That's a pretty amazing thought. Like even small acts of kindness can make a difference. But if we're always making this energy, how do we actually, tap into it and use it?
Well, think of chaos magic as the raw energy. It's everywhere, right?
Right.
But to actually like direct it, use it for something specific, you got to learn how to collect it and focus it.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do we collect this ambient magic? Any tips from the book?
Oh yeah, there's tons of ways. Observing those acts of kindness, being in nature, even, get this, going to a sporting event.
A sporting event. How does that work?
Well, think about all those people and their energy, the excitement, the joy. It's all this potent energy just waiting to be harnessed. The book even says you can like breathe it in.
Wow, that's wild. So we're literally surrounded by this energy in nature, in kindness, even in a crowded stadium. It's like we're swimming in potential.
Exactly. And that brings us to the next step. Learning to, point that energy at the things we want, our intentions.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. I'm ready to become a magic master.
Whoa, hold on there. It's not that simple. Remember, magic has its own timeline. And you got to be really specific with what you want.
Right. No snapping my fingers and getting whatever I want. It's more about working with it, not trying to force it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where things like setting intentions, using visualization, and working with sigils come in.
Sigils. What are those?
They're like visual representations of your goals, almost like symbolic blueprints. You draw them, meditate on them, even plant them in nature.
Planting sigils. That sounds pretty cool. Like you're putting your intentions right into the earth.
Yep. The book goes into all sorts of methods for working with sigils and other techniques to direct your magic.
This is blowing my mind. So we've talked about individual magic, but is there a thing like collective intention?
Absolutely. The book calls it group magic. The idea is that when people get together with the same goal, they can like supercharge their magic.
So that feeling of unity you get at a concert or a protest, that's a form of magic.
Exactly. Think about family supporting a loved one or communities working together for a cause. That's group magic in action.
What about that home field advantage in sports?
Totally group magic. The crowd, the passion, the belief in their team, it all adds up.
So if we take that even further, could we, like, harness that collective energy on a global scale?
Now you're talking about world magic, and that's where things get really mind-blowing.
Okay, now we're venturing into some serious what-ifs. What would world magic even look like? Would it even work?
Well, the book says it's a tough one, for sure. Human nature, global politics, it's all complicated. But it also points to times when people have worked together to do amazing things, like, the civil rights movement.
Yeah, that's a powerful example of collective action making real change. What about, like, climate change? Global poverty? Could world magic help with that?
That's a big question. We'll definitely get into that more later. But for now, let's switch gears a bit and talk about something else the book explores. The connection between love and magic.
Oh yeah, the age-old question. Does love mess with magic by bringing in all that emotion? Or is it, like, the source of magic's power?
That's the question the author really wrestles with. He even talks about his own struggle with it, and he ends up leaning towards love being super important.
That's cool. It makes it more personal. So is he saying that love is, like, essential for magic to work? Or is it more complicated than that?
It's definitely more nuanced than that. We'll unpack all the different views on love and magic in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, I'm hooked. Can't wait to see where this goes. We've covered so much already, from chaos to group magic, even world magic.
And we're just getting started. There's a lot more to discover in magic, from chaos to clarity. Stay tuned for the next part of our deep dive.
Hi, Pratis and Sorries. Here I came to you to explain why and what it's all about. It's not only about Chaos magic, but I can say in stages I will send a lot of videos about one or other subject until finish it. So someone who care about those books and search for information about it can learn or can have some information about it. So please follow up the channel here in the
Chaos Magic Time.
Welcome back to our deep dive into magic from chaos to clarity. Before we took a break, we were talking about, well, love and magic and how they might be connected.
Right, and I'm really curious to hear more. The author sharing his own struggle with the whole love and magic thing, that really got my attention.
Yeah, he starts off by saying that, a lot of people think love can kind of cloud your judgment, and weaken your intentions.
That makes sense. If you're like super focused on a certain outcome, especially when it comes to, matters of the heart, it could make it hard to see clearly and think strategically. Exactly. But then he kind of flips that idea and says that love, it's a powerful creative force in itself. He even says that love is like its own form of magic, this energy that, fuels our desires and connects us to something bigger.
So it's not about, like, pushing down your feelings or detaching from your emotions, but more about channeling that love into your practice, into your magic.
You got it. And the book even goes into this thing called sex magic. But it's not just about the physical act. It's about harnessing the energy and intentions of two people together,
So it's about that real connection, having your desires align, not just like physical intimacy, but a deeper kind of energy connection.
That's it. And this leads to another interesting point about finding the balance between intention and acceptance.
Wait, how so? I thought intention was like the key to magic.
It is, but the book also says, don't get too stuck on one specific outcome. Remember, magic has its own intelligence. It works on its own time, often in ways we can't even wrap our heads around.
So it's like having your intention, but also being open to things maybe unfolding a bit differently than you planned.
Yeah. It's about, like, surrendering to the mystery, accepting that magic might show up in unexpected ways.
That actually goes back to the author's story about the book deal. He had that clear intention, but it took him 8 years and some big life changes to make it happen. Maybe those changes were part of the process, like he had to go through certain things to be ready for that opportunity.
That's a really cool way to look at it. Maybe sometimes our desires, they need time to, like, develop, and we have to go through certain things to become the person who can actually receive what we're asking for.
So patience is key here. Trusting that magic is working even when we can't see the results right away.
Right. And that brings us to something else that's really important, recognizing that magic has its own intelligence.
We've touched on that idea before, but I'd love to dive deeper into it. What does it actually mean for magic to be intelligent?
Well, the book says that magic, it's not just this neutral force that we can, control. It has its own energy, its own consciousness, you know? It works according to rules that, well, we might not fully understand.
So it's less like using a tool and more like partnering with a wise being.
That's a great way to put it. You got to respect the power of magic and understand that it might have its own plans, you know, plans that are for your own good, even if it's not exactly what you had in mind at first.
That makes me think of chaos magic again, how all those little acts of kindness, they can create these ripples of positive energy. It's like we're all adding to this intelligent web of magic, whether we know it or not.
Exactly. The book really emphasizes that the more we align ourselves with this intelligent force, the better we can work with it.
Okay, that's fascinating. But how do we do that? How do we get a better understanding of the intelligence of magic?
The book says it starts with being aware. Pay attention to the signs, you know, the synchronicities, those things that often guide us. It's about realizing that everything's connected and trusting your intuition.
So it's about being more in tune with the magic that's already around us.
Exactly. And that leads to another interesting discussion about how we can share the knowledge of magic with others, especially those who might be, skeptical.
That's a good point. Magic can be a pretty out there idea for some people to grasp. What does the book say about that?
It says it's important to, meet people where they are. Instead of trying to convince them of something they're not ready for, talk about magic in a way they can relate to, you know?
So instead of focusing on spells and rituals and stuff, maybe focus on things like intention, visualization, the power of positive thinking.
Exactly. Because even if someone doesn't believe in magic in the, traditional sense, they're probably already using some of its principles in their life anyway.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's about highlighting those universal truths behind magic instead of getting bogged down in the specific jargon or practices.
And it's about leading by example, showing people how magic works in your own life.
That's a powerful way to share it without being preachy or pushy, just being authentic, letting your own experiences speak for themselves.
Exactly. And that brings us to another important point, protecting your own energy, your magical energy, from negativity and doubt.
Oh yeah, that's so important. It's easy to let other people's skepticism or negativity get to you.
The book reminds us that our experiences are our own. You don't need anyone else to validate your beliefs, Trust your gut. Trust the things you're seeing in your own life.
So even if someone says magic is total nonsense, you don't have to let that affect your practice.
Exactly. Stand strong in your own truth. And remember, what works for you might not work for everyone else. And that goes for other magical practitioners too,
Well, that's interesting. So there can be disagreements within the magical community.
Of course. The book warns about, thinking there's only one right way to practice magic. Respect different approaches. What works for one person might not work for another.
I like that perspective. It's a good reminder to be open-minded and avoid dogma, even in a field that's already, pretty unconventional.
And it goes back to that idea that magic is intelligent. You can't force it into a box or tell it what to do. Be humble, be respectful.
Greetings, everyone. I need to ask for your understanding, because making one video in English and another in Portuguese every day is very complicated, especially because the power is very unstable here where I am in Campos do Jordão. Given this situation, I am forced to make only one video a day, Monday, Wednesday and Saturday in English, while on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays I will make them in Portuguese. I am sorry that I cannot offer the same videos more consistently, but the simultaneous execution of other projects require this, and I cannot handle everything at the same time alone. If this bothers you, leave your comments below so that I can find another alternative that may be more interesting for everyone. After all, it seems that it is unfeasible, even for you viewers, to see a different video every day given the increasing drop in views, the more I insist on making one video a day. Well, the most important thing is for you to give your opinion in the comments, knowing that next Monday the videos in Portuguese will start a new cycle, leaving the sequence of videos of works related to the Necronomicon. Hugs. Bye.
Which brings us to another key point from the book. Using magic responsibly, being mindful of its power.
Right. The book is really clear about that. Magic is a force to be respected, not a toy to be played with. And definitely not for selfish reasons.
So it's not about manipulating or controlling other people.
Definitely not. It's about working with the natural flow of energy, understanding that the results, they might not always be what you expect.
And it's about avoiding that win the lottery kind of thinking, where everyone's after the same limited thing.
Exactly. Magic works best when our intentions are, aligned with the greater good. Not just what we want personally. It's about creating more light, more love, more positive energy in the world.
So it's not about getting power for yourselves. It's about channeling that power for something bigger.
You got it. It's about understanding that we're all connected and that our actions, they create ripples that go way beyond our own lives.
Okay, I'm really starting to see the bigger picture now. Magic isn't just about, manifesting things for yourself. It's about using this powerful force to make positive change in the world.
And the book ends with this beautiful reflection on what magic really is. It reminds us that it's not separate from us. It's a universal truth that flows through all of us.
So we're all connected to this incredible force.
Yeah.
And we can all tap into it and use it for good.
Exactly. The author describes magic as the very fabric of existence, connecting us all and connecting us to something much bigger.
It's like we're all part of this huge web of energy, always creating and influencing each other, whether we know it or not.
Yeah. And he talks about how magic, it shows up in different ways for different people. Some might feel it as a knowing, others might see it in synchronicities.
It's about learning to see those subtle signs, the little whispers of magic in everyday life.
Exactly. And the author leaves us with a really powerful message. The most important magician in all of this is you.
Because we all have that power within us to create magic, to bring more light into the world.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into magic, from chaos to clarity.
Wow. This deep dive has been like a total mind trip. We've talked about what magic is, its connection to chaos, the power of intentions, and how love and respect play a part.
And we've seen that magic isn't this far out concept. It's actually woven into our lives, It connects us to each other and to something way bigger.
It's like we've been given these new glasses to see the world with. Glasses that show us the magic and how everything's connected, which has always been there. We just couldn't see it before.
Right. And the most exciting thing is we all have this power to tap into that magic, to become these, conscious creators of our own reality and make the world a better, more loving place.
So what does all this mean for us, going forward? How do we take all this stuff and actually use it in our lives?
The book gives us a few things to take away from all this, things we can all start doing. First, it says we got to be more aware, pay attention to those little synchronicities and signs that are always guiding us,
So be more present, more mindful in our everyday lives, and notice those little nudges from the universe.
Yep. And second, it says embrace the power of intention. Really decide what you want to create and, make sure your actions match your desires.
So be super clear about your goals, take steps to achieve them, knowing that your energy, when you focus it, it can actually make a difference.
Exactly. And the last thing is, remember that magic is a journey, not a destination. Trust the process, be okay with not knowing everything, and accept that the universe might have bigger plans than we can see right now.
So let go of that need to control everything and just embrace the mystery and all the possibilities of magic.
That's it. Be curious, be playful, and know that you're part of something truly magical.
I love that. So even if we don't understand every single thing about magic, we can still use its principles to live our lives with more intention, awareness, and a sense of wonder.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe just by, thinking about these ideas, opening ourselves up to magic, we're already inviting more of it into our lives.
I think you're right. So to everyone listening, keep exploring these ideas, play around with setting intentions, notice the magic that's already happening all around you, and trust in that inner magician you have inside.
And remember, even if you don't see results right away, that energy you're putting out, it's making a difference. Keep believing, keep creating, keep that magic alive.
Beautifully said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of magic. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep those intentions flowing.
But now the time has come to rise. to bring the truth into our eyes. It's not just illusion, it's not just a show. With magic